We're on the air. How y'all doing? I be Keith. This B2B roll. Like I said, that sounds so deja vu. I wonder why I said that 2 times. Maybe because I like hearing it so well. Here we go. It's just me and Big John C up in here in the studio today. Robbie Rob is not here, but he did send me a text. He did send me a text. And since he's not here to defend himself or defend that text that he sent me, I guess I'm going to have to go at it without him. Because that's just how it is. It's how it is. That's how we do here. Yeah, like I was saying, I want to do a shout out to TBCN, the local community network, television network, because, without them, I wouldn't be here. I'll go into some more of the things with them around. I want to do a PA about a half an hour into the show, and I want to go over the channels and all that stuff.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Good.
Just talk into the mic.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, like I was saying. That's the deal. So here we are. What's the show about today? As you read the caption, the show is about HBCUs, the real facts. Yes, the real facts. Because a lot of people like to dwell in or indulge in hyperbole and just misinformation, disinformation, and lies. And so we're here to address that because that's the first thing I said when I first started this show, that this is not going to be like the mainstream media. It doesn't matter whether it's the conservative side or the so-called liberal side, because the bottom line is, I keep telling you, there's no such thing as a mainstream liberal media. No, it's just the mainstream media and the conservative media. All right. Okay. So that being said, a lot of them like to gloss over and like to support, these individuals who are very unqualified to be in these positions of authority, such as, let me think of one, Donald, the former president. I mean, I don't know whether you guys realize how this thing works, right? When you're campaigning for president, and I've said this, people would agree with me, you need at least $500 million to run a successful campaign. $500 million to run a successful presidential campaign, right? Okay, let's be clear about that. And the media, as it is, on both sides, the mainstream media as well as the conservative streaming media, right? That's where you have the Fox News and Newsmax, organization that's inclined, I could say, to engage in hyperbole and lies, disinformation. This is a fact. How do we know? Because Fox just got sued for $800 million for lying. Enough said. Newsmax, they just didn't go after Newsmax. But Fox got sued. So then who are you going to believe? What they say or what I say? I say me, because I'm that guy to do, like I said, nobody's infallible. But I'm not going to try and argue a lie. And back to Trump. You need like $500 million to run. Hillary Clinton in 2016, when she was running against Trump, she lost grasp of that situation, But Trump understood. Trump and all the media personalities understood. It goes to what there was this DJ in New York, right, called Star, right? They called him the Evil Star. There was this DJ in New York called Star. They called him the Evil Star, right? He was on, was he on WBLS? No, he wasn't on WBLS. He was on the hip hop, the R&B hip hop channel, right? So one of the things that he did was that he lived the mantra from Howard Stern. Howard Stern, the great legendary Howard Stern. His philosophy is
Hey
quite
now.
simple. I didn't even know that's his catchphrase.
Yeah. Hey now.
Hey now, that guy. So what his catchphrase is or his mentality, frame of thought of mind is this: all publicity is good publicity, right? Long as you don't end up in jail or it gets you hurt or something like that, it's good publicity because it keeps your name on people's lips. It keeps you in the news. And that's what Donald Trump did during the 2016 election. Everything he was doing kept him in the news. So while Hillary Clinton may have ran up 500, got $500 billion. Donald Trump, get this, with all the press that he was getting during that campaign, he got over $2 billion. Over $2 billion was press, and he didn't really put any money out of pocket. It was from small pocket donors, right? And then it was the media that was constantly covering every little asinine, stupid thing he did. And they sugarcoated things. They literally sugarcoated. They never pushed back on them. So I say that to say this is that I told you from the beginning, you're not gonna get that crap. You're not gonna get that sugar-coated stuff. People say, oh, why you always dogging him out? Because he likes it. Oh no, he's serious. He likes the attention. He likes it, and so I give it to him, right? He's a buffoon anyway. And what else? What was I saying? Oh yeah, his lies was lies on lies on lies. I know I said HBCUs, right? Well, that was a lie too, because I was having a conversation with someone, and it was like, you know what? The HBCUs in the Platinum Plan, I told y'all from my show way back when, one of my early shows, that Platinum Plan was a bunch of crap. It was a crock of crap. That's all it was, a crock of crap. I said it then, I said it now, okay? Nothing's changed. That Platinum Plan was BS, okay? But Ice Cube signed, yeah, because Ice Cube, like many people in that echo chamber or support, the former president, think the people who he talked to are basically stupid. They're elitists. Ice Cube is a leader. He's not, yes, he is. He's an elitist. Because he's with a group of people and they all think they're smarter than you. Fox News, how many times that they have said, that their audience is stupid. They literally call their audience stupid. When somebody sued Tucker Carlson for their father dying during COVID because their father listened to him about, the vaccines and all that stuff, they sued Tucker Carlson. Do you know what the judge said? Do you believe that stuff? How could anybody honestly believe that? So what is he saying? That he was stupid to believe Tucker Carlson, even though I think it was stupid for that judge to do what he did. That was not the point. If Tucker Carlson didn't persuade that person to not take the vaccine, he may have lived, right? He would have been a little bit more cautious. They were saying there's no problem, but common cold and all that stuff. But back to what I was saying with the HBCUs. What does this have to do with the HBCUs? They like to bring up this myth, and I'm going to get back to the Platinum Plan. I'm going to touch on that again. But this myth, or not this myth, but this ridiculous idea or notion that Donald Trump did more for black folk than what Barack Obama did, taking unemployment for the black community from 18% that topped, I think, under Bush at 22%, but when Barack Obama got it, was like 18%. He took it down to like 7.5%, 6%, something like that. That was for black employment, for black folk. I'm not talking about Hispanic or white. For white people, for white folk, it was at 10%. Some people at 10.5%. Well, it went up to 10.5% under Bush, but when Barack Obama got it, it was like 10%. By the time he left office, it was at 5%. Actually, it was like 4.9%. And here's the thing. All of these numbers was trending down. Balancing the budget, all that stuff was trending down. And Donald Trump came in talking about how bad the economy was. When I said this at my last show, he inherited the second best economy in the last 50 years. I kid you not. He inherited the second best economy in the last 50 years. Let me shift this around a bit because I want to move this. Move my way a little bit. Is that? How do I look? Am I clear?
I'm more concerned about you talking into the mic.
Okay. What about my voice? How does that sound?
When you don't talk into the mic, it cuts in and out.
Okay. How's my look? How do I look?
You look great.
But the mic is not blocking me?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, well, now, let me turn it back. Let me turn it back. Here we go. So it was lies, and the media didn't push back. We knew the mainstream media, not the mainstream, but we knew that the conservative mainstream conservative media personalities and shows, they wasn't going to push back, not at all. They were just going to go with that lie, and well, the mainstream media allowed them to go with that lie, talking about, oh, I heard the worst economy. Now, just a few weeks earlier, everybody was talking about, all the mainstream media, how great the economy was. I want you to think about that. Think about that, because we're going to discuss that later on. Other parts of the mythology that goes along with the great Donald Trump. Oh, don't call him that. That's so disrespectful. You calling me a fascist. You call me a communist. You call me a socialist. You call me this. You call me that. You know what? So what? Suck it up. Stop being a little wuss, all right? Like that kid, who passed a lick and get hit back and then start crying. Talk about, I got hit. No, why'd you get hit? Because you swung first, right? If you didn't swing, like my mama told me when I hit my big brother when I had to be like 4 years old, 3 or 4 years old, and I hit my big brother because he was picking on me, and his argument was that he hit me first, and my argument was that he was bothering me. And my mom said, you know what? If you're big enough to pass a lick, you're big enough to take a lick, all right? So now back to the HBCUs, right? Donald Trump gave $250. That's what they say. Donald Trump gave $250 to HBCUs. Not true. Not true. Not the $250. Not that he didn't give $250, $250 million to HBCUs. Well, it's really not true. Donald Trump actually wrote funding for HBCUs out of his budget that year. He literally wrote it out. It was a Democrat congresswoman who put it back in to the budget, and he signed off on it. He didn't support it. He just signed off on it because they put it back in the budget, and it was like, if you're not going to take these things, then you're not going to sign off on anything. You're not going to sign off on the budget because we're not taking it out. You're not zeroing out. We're providing funding for it, all right? So let's be clear about that. It wasn't Donald Trump. You want to give him credit just because he signed the bill. He took it out. So that's a lie that Donald Trump did that for black folk. He didn't. He had no choice. He had no choice. And then the money, the $250, was divided amongst not only historical black colleges and universities, but also amongst Hispanic colleges and universities. I don't know exactly how much money went towards agricultural colleges, but that's what that $250 covered. The $250 million covered. Now, the reality is Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, has done much more, way much more. I'll give you numbers, and you can look it up for yourself. Because what do I say all the time? Look it up. You question me? Look it up. I'll give you my source. Look it up. Let me see. Let's see what I got here. Going to facts. Okay, and this is coming from the U.S. Department of Education. Right? This is coming from the U.S. Department of Education. This is the fact sheet on the Biden-Harris administration in relation to colleges, black colleges, HBCUs, historical black colleges, right, and universities. Before we get into that, the act comes under the Morrill Act. The Morrill Act was an act that was put into legislation, federal legislation, in 1860, 1862. And it was because people felt that agricultural colleges, it was to go towards agricultural colleges. It got the money and the lands from mostly from the Native Americans. They got the money and the land, right? So they opened up these agricultural colleges throughout the nation. They gave them lands to actually develop and all that other stuff, but also it was just the first part. They did a second Morrill. That's Morrill, not Morrell or Moral, but Morrill, Morrill. Okay, they did a
Is this
second.
an English lesson?
I just want to be clear because some people think moral or they think morel, and it's not the spelling. The actual spelling is the Morrill. All right, you know
Thank
how
you.
we do. You know how
Thank
we
you.
do. No
Thank
problem.
you.
You can look it up. It's called the Morrill Act, right? And so in 1890 was the second one, and that included HBCUs, right? Historical Black colleges, and so that being the case, the funding went to fund historical Black colleges, and as we move forward, we get to we get up to now, but we're going to go back to 1987, 89. The Biden Harris, that's like J Lo, that's like Beneford and Kim Ye and the Bihar, the Bihar. We're gonna call this the Bihar, the Bihar administration looked at it and said no, and other people looked at it and they said no. Since 1989, they have been woefully underfunded, as in relation or comparison to the white, basically white or any other ethnicity group, right? So they were greatly underfunded. I know it's so sad. It is so sad. You got any tear music?
Working on that.
Okay, because a tear come to my eye. Anyway, what happened? So that's what happened now. But let's go over from 1989, not 1890, when the Morrill Act 2 was passed. From 1989 to 87, 89 to 2020, they found that HBCUs were grossly underfunded as compared to the other universities, okay, and to the regular mainstream universities. So since 2021, 22 and 23, I want you to hear this because people say, Biden don't do nothing, especially for the HBCUs. Once again, I said Donald Trump put $250 million. No, he didn't put $250 million. He signed a budget that included the $250 million. Somebody else put it in there, right? So that being the case, the HBCUs over the past 3 years have gotten strictly for HBCUs, no other ethnic group, not the Asian, not the Hispanic, but just historical Black colleges and universities, got a whopping, and I say whopping, $7 billion. That's money, man. Come on, money. $7 billion from the Biden-Harris administration. Donald Trump gave Donald Trump signed the budget for $250 million. Under Biden-Harris, they received, historical Black colleges and universities received over $7 billion. So how do you weigh that? How do you weigh that? But people are not talking about that. They don't, and I've run across not a whole bunch, but I'll say a few individuals who like to throw those talking points up. They really they look like a bone, like a dog on a bone. They don't want to let it go, right? But the fact is that that's BS what they're talking about, right? That's one of the things they talk about. Let me give you some facts.
Give us some facts.
Give you some facts from the from the Department of Education, right? .gov fact sheet. This is from September 29th, 2023. Okay. Fact sheet: Biden-Harris administration highlights.
Sorry.
No, play.
You keep talking.
Play music. Okay. Oh, I should talk through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's breaking news.
Put it on. Oh, this is breaking news. That's good. That's good. That's great. Thank you. In his executive order establishing the White House initiative on historical black colleges and universities, HBCUs, President Joe Biden charged the initiative to develop new and expand pre-existing national networks of individuals, organizations, and communities to share the implement administrative and programmatic best practices related to advancing educational equity, excellence, and opportunity at HBCUs. What is that saying? That's saying that this man put his money where his mouth is. It's an executive order. It's an the president said, no, here, I'm signing this. This president actually signed a letter saying that these organizations get this amount of money, which is $7 billion, a little bit over $7 billion. And a lot of it went to support this. Again, I'm still reading from the fact sheet. I ain't gonna sit up here and pretend I know all this stuff. I understand it. I know a lot of it, but I want to read exactly what it says. Or maybe not exactly, but it's going to be a lot of it. The initiative hosted the annual National HBCU Week Conference, the nation's premier convening of the HBCU leaders. The event provides a unique occasion for over 2,300 registered representatives from the HBCUs, federal agencies, private sector companies, philanthropic organizations, and others discuss opportunities to advance educational equity, improve instruction, support degree completion, and deepen federal agreement, all of which strengthens the role of the HBCUs. Now here we go. The HBCUs, understand, only make up 3% of the colleges in our nation. Yeah, 3% of the colleges in our nation is made up by HBCUs. The majority of, let me throw this at you, 40% of all black engineers, 40% of all black engineers in our nation come from that 3% of HBCUs. 50% of all black teachers come from that 3% of HBCUs. 70% of all doctors and dentists, 70% of all doctors and dentists come from that 3% of HBCUs. 80% of all black judges, 80% come from that 3% of HBCUs. The numbers are compared to the nation. Here's another one. Breaking news. The first.
Sorry. A little slow on the button.
That's okay. The first woman, black and South Asian vice president of the United States came from an HBCU. Whoa. The investment, the Biden-Harris administration has taken historic actions to support HBCUs, including by investing over $7 billion in HBCUs, which includes, remember that $250 million they said Trump, how great Trump was? Well, Biden-Harris had given money. The first one is $3.6 billion for HBCUs through the American Rescue Plan and other COVID relief. $3.6 billion. $1.6 billion in capital finance debt relief for 45 public and private HBCUs. So that's $1.6 billion for finance, capital financing. $1.7 billion in grant funding. $1.7 billion in grant funding to expand academic capacity and provide support for low-income students. Whoa. Yeah, let your head, salivate a little bit. Let your head wrap around that, okay? Then you have supporting students they enroll to diverse workforce, teacher workforce from 2022 to 2023, spending packages which include securing new flexibilities for minority serving institutions to use higher education emergency relief fund dollars to invest in renovation, construction, and other infrastructural needs. That's money to help them physically build, expand, repair, whatever, the institutions that they're into, that particular institution, those multiple institutions. Had a combined $900 increase to the Pell Grant, $900 increase to the Pell Grants. Wow. The largest increase in decades, of course, bringing the maximum award of $7,395, which is critical to approximately 75% of the HBCU students who rely on Pell Grants to afford college. So they're giving, now we're giving $7,395 when it once was, $6,400? It's almost $1,000 more. Then you got a new $50 million grant program focused on supporting research and development infrastructure at capacity for HBCUs, tribal colleges, and universities, TCUs, and MSIs. I don't know what the MSIs is, but it sounds good, right? We're funding it. We don't care. The first-time grants for Augustus Hawkins Center of Excellence to strengthen the diversity, the teaching profession to help choose to close opportunity gaps, including $1.5 million going to HBCU, going to an HBCU. That's the Biden-Harrison, what they've been doing over the last 3 years.
I know what an MSI is now.
What's MSI?
Institutions of higher education that serve minority populations, or MSIs.
What?
That's what Google says.
Repeat that again.
Institutions of higher education that serve minority populations.
That serve minority populations.
MSIs.
They're gonna have to change that acronym. That acronym does not fit the description. Anyway, now we know, right? Now we know. I tell you, it sounds like a good thing. It turns out to be a great thing, right? Told you.
MSI stands for Minority Serving Institution.
Thank you. Minority Serving Institution. Got an extra $1.5 million. Wow. This is the fact sheet. This is the fact sheet. Okay, this is the fact sheet. I want you. These are facts. All right. These are facts.
Fact or fiction? Fact check.
Fact or fiction? Fact check all you want. I ask you. I tell you all the time, right? I always say the same thing. Look it up. Fact check. You want to fact check me? Fine. I'll tell you where. You tell me where your source come from. Because I don't like arguing with or having conversations with morons. Because I ain't gonna argue with a moron. I'm not gonna argue with some of these stupid individuals. And that's what they are. They're stupid. They think they have something. They think they have a certain level of intellectual knowledge and stuff like that on some stuff. But reality, they don't have anything. And their go-to thing is to spread lies, disinformation, or they blame everything on the deep state. It's the deep state. Who's running the deep state? Nobody knows. But they're controlling Biden. They're controlling Harrison. They're controlling Barack Obama. Okay, I get the Biden and the Harris. What the hell do Barack Obama got to do with this? I don't pay $10. I never paid $10 for no eggs. What? What the hell? This is what you have to do. I had a conversation with a couple of people, and they would just pull stuff out of the air and say, "What about?" And That's the whataboutism.
What about gas prices?
What about gas prices? I never paid, $10 for no $8 for no gas. Guess what? Me neither. Me neither. Uh, and the reason why is because where I come from, it never went that high. I lived in New York when Bush was we were going through that Great Recession with Bush, and we paid in Brooklyn. I was like at
Close to 5, probably.
no, four,
Four,
yeah,
yeah.
four some change. But in the Bronx, it was like $5.66. I was like, what the hell? I'm glad I stay I'm glad I live in Brooklyn, but I was working in the Bronx, so I had to travel all the way to the Bronx. But anyway, it dropped down to $3.50 and stuff like that. No, it was up to like
Oh,
it was up to like
I paid
$4.50.
like $2.60 the other day.
Yeah.
At,
Yeah,
one of the
right.
clubs.
Local.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm glad you said one of the clubs because I'm not sponsoring anybody to not sponsor me.
Right.
Not
That's
paying
what I
me.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, just the other day, yesterday I got gas and it was like below $3, and today I went to the same place and it was like 2 pennies higher, so like 3.01. Look, $3.01. So I'm like, okay, that was at one of those clubs.
You don't like it? Move to Venezuela.
Yeah, move to Vin, where you get everything.
Yeah.
You get it free, but then you got to deal
Gas
with
is 12 cents a gallon there.
Yeah, that's a 12 cents. But you gotta have a gun, have bodyguards. Otherwise, your wife is gonna end up kidnapped.
Yeah,
Your kids
you
gonna
can't
get
eat.
kidnapped.
You can't eat, but you can buy gas.
Yeah, you can buy gas. You know how it goes, right? Venezuela. Okay, that fine dictatorship right there. So yeah, and those are all myths. It's all myths. And when I deal with people, that's what I have to deal with. And they jump from subject to subject to subject to subject. Someone sent me a text, and it had this guy, my favorite individual. And I say that, what do you say, sarcastic, with sarcasm? That's sarcasm. It's a little sarcasm. It's this YouTuber, what's his name? Scott. First name is Philip.
Scott.
Yeah, Scott. Scott Philip. Philip Scott. Big burly guy. And he talks like this. What? What did you just say? Anyway, he's a big burly guy. He got his degrees and stuff like that. He got followings on YouTube followings. I'm all with it. I respect that, man. Like I said, you're doing good. Get your grind on, kid. Do good, man. But he has this this elitist way about him. He's an elitist. That's why, because he thinks he's smarter than you. It's like the individual TYT, the Zinc and Casper and Ann, right? They're elitists. Oh my gosh! Did you hear that they're starting their own network, their news network?
Yeah, I was going through YouTube TV, and I'm like, look at that, Young Turks have their own.
They got
their
their own network. Oh my gosh! I told you, I know, and they've been talking about they've been bashing the media for decades, right? They've been bashing the media, mainstream media for decades, and periodically they always have something to say about Fox, the individual, but they don't say anything about the party as a whole, really, right? So I can't wait to see them start to live the same life that they have been bashing, others for living for the last 2 decades, decade and a half, decade. That's I can't wait to see that happening, and it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. Because Jink, whatever his name is, has a bone to pick because he put his name to be the alternate candidate. What the hell's an alternate candidate? No, seriously.
He thinks he's an alternate candidate?
So what? Say again?
Yeah. What does he think? He's an alternate candidate?
Yeah, he put his name as the alternate candidate in case nobody want to vote for Biden. Hey, choose me. Choose you, man. Hey. No, man. I deviate. So that being the case, I told people for a while, you're gonna hear this stuff. I'm gonna get into it. I will dispel this stuff. I will validate it. If I validate it, I could still be incorrect, but still, I'm going to do what I do from an informed position, okay? So Philip Scott, somebody sent me a text with him, And I'm like, okay, I know this guy to be a joke. Um, he actually validated. He once I saw him one day. He critiqued the Florida. He was saying something about the Florida black black history curriculum. Oh, I saw that. You know, it looks really good. I'm like, what? It looks really good. Yeah. And I'm saying, okay, all right, okay. He says it looks really good. The way it's set up to read it looks really good, but the content itself is not. You understand what I'm saying? It's structured in a way, eh, plausible, but the reality is not. Slavery, slavery, produced some great things. Like what? People learned trades in slavery, and they learned a hard, life. They learned how to provide for themselves for life. No, they were working still in a condition where they were doing the work. It's called slave labor for a reason. There is nothing good about it. It's not like they educated people to become carpenters and builders and planters and stuff like that. I guess the back then would be horseshoe maker, blacksmiths and stuff like that for the benefit of the enslaved people. No, it was for the masters, okay? So there was nothing good about that. They gloss over all the historical from the Civil War and all that good stuff, the good stuff about people being lynched, beaten to death, exploited, broken in, the buck breaking, the raping, the breeding, and all that stuff. The good stuff, the other good stuff about slavery. The good stuff. They let all the good stuff out, dude. That's what this curriculum lacks. It lacks genuine, sincere, historical reference and fact. It is sugar. It ain't even sugar coated. It just whitewashed it. And then they put these little caveats in. And individuals like you, Mr. Scott, really believe that, that's good, right? Okay, I got you. All right, okay. To each their own. And back to what I was saying. What is the Biden administration, the Biden-Harris administration done for black folk? Let's put all this stuff in perspective. We have the scenario where you have unemployment. People want to tell how great unemployment was. Like I said, that was something that Barack Obama, the Obama Biden administration put into play. It was trending at when they hit 5% when he left, and unemployment, when I say unemployment, 5%, I'm talking about historically as from white people, 4.9%, and trending down. It kind of flatlined out. For black folk, it went to like 7%. It flatlined out. That had nothing to do with Trump. He took the second best economy in the last 54 years, and he wrecked it. People say, "Oh no, it's because of COVID." No. You don't get to brush that aside. And we already discussed why COVID is actually the Trump virus. He even took credit for it. Oh yeah, they named the virus after me. Dude, that's not really a compliment. He don't care. Howard Stern. Any publicity is great publicity because I'm pretty sure that he'd rather be recognized by the name of a virus than being a traitor to the nation by starting or instigating the insurrection. Right? Think about that. So as we go along, unemployment under Biden, Harris, is lower than it was under Trump at any stage. As our wise president like to say, President Biden, that's not hyperbole. That's a fact. The GDP, which always shocked the heck out of people, which is the gross domestic product, I think, GDP, gross net. That's based on the goods and services that's purchased. And how they finagle those numbers, I'm not really sure. I got to do more research on it. But it's when people buy more and they buy more stuff, and they buy stuff here and there, right? That GDP affects the actual inflation. There was a lot of things that affect inflation, but that's what one of the things that affected. So GDP grew. The average was growing at about 3% under what's that guy named Dumb Donald? It was like 3.5 or something like that, 3%. He was talking about how he could get higher numbers for GDP, but nobody was buying anything. He wasn't putting money in the middle class pockets. This is what Joe Biden did when it came to all Americans. And that's what he's doing. He's governing for all Americans. African American, Caucasian American, European American, Hispanic American, everybody across the board getting more money in the middle class. Trump philosophy was the same thing as Ronald Reagan. Trickle down economics. Let's give all the money, let's give the money to the richest people, to the rich $65 trillion having people, and they're going to create more jobs in the economy and going to be a boom for the economy. Not true. It didn't work out that way. He added $8.2 trillion, and what do black folk have to show for it? Unemployment shot out the roof again. Not just for black folk, but for Hispanic and white folk. Remember that? Inflation now is at under 4%, under 3%. It's around 3.5%. So that being the case, people like to keep talking about how impacting inflation is on people, but they're not acknowledging that the fact that inflation has dropped considerably, right? For everyone, including black folk. Well, where we at, people? Where we at? That's all I want people to start thinking about. Not about that BS, the fear mongering that Mr. Scott was talking about, that a gentleman by the name of Roland Martin, he called him, what do you call him? Boo Bouger or something, Martin, which is kind of weird because Roland Martin got a open invitation for anybody who want to debate him. So, dude, why don't you just call him up? You got it. You can easily get him. He got over like 200,000 followers or something like that, subscribers. You know, you can easily get a invite to Roland Martin's show. Y'all can easily get together. I would love this. I would love to see Philip Scott debate Roland Martin. I would. But Philip Scott would never do that. I wonder why. Because it's easier to sit back and lie in a chamber where you don't get no kickback than it is to lie to some, where it's less forgiving to lie in an environment where you actually get some feedback or kickback or pushback on your lies. Okay, so somebody sent me that thing, sent me a text with that referred me that directed me to this guy, and I'm like, this guy, I thought this was gonna be something serious, and this is how he starts off. He goes, yeah, I'm gonna get back to this stuff. I haven't finished with it. I'm gonna get back to it, but he goes, yeah, you know, Boulay Martin had a 24-minute show, but I want y'all to listen to the last 34 seconds. What? I'm going to interpret the other 23 and a half minutes. I'm going to fill you in. And if you let these fools fill you in, you're going to be dumber than dumb. I'm serious. You're going to be dumb. You're going to be stupid and stupid. So I just I want to get that out, especially when it comes to the media, the mainstream media and all that stuff, black media and all that, because I guess I would be considered to be in black media, right? I'm not mainstream. I know they ain't mainstream media. They don't want me mainstreaming out here because I tell them stuff that they don't want to hear. But they tell me stuff I don't want to hear. I gotta listen to it. So I feel we even Stevens, right? You give, you give, you take. You take, you give. So yeah, that being the case. But again, the question is what did Trump do for black folk? HBCUs, Biden, Harrison crushed them, literally crushed them. Over $7 billion to his $250 million that he had actually took out the budget. That somebody else had to put it back in. All right. So now unemployment, Biden crushes him, and the unemployment numbers and all the economy that he inherited. He inherited the second best economy ever, and he messed that up. No, he don't get no pass. He don't get no pass. Oh, it's COVID. No, it's not the COVID excuse. No. You don't get the pass, dog. He don't get a pass here. And here's why. Under Obama, Biden, since they like to bring up Obama, I'm going to bring up Obama. Obama, Biden, they created a disease office to deal with any pandemics or epidemics that may come our way. The office was going to do everything that needed to be done. They would regulate PPPs if people need PPPs. They would keep tabs of it. Viruses, what's that stuff? Not hallucinogenics. The other thing when you give somebody vaccinations, they would make sure this stuff is being done. They would make sure that people have the right equipment. They would make sure that these things got addressed. They had an office sitting in the White House that Biden was actually, the chair of, the head of. That was one of his duties. But as soon as Trump got in office, because Obama did it, set it up, he went to take it out. He took it out. He got rid of it. Oh, there's no reason for it. And no sooner than he got rid of it, guess what? We got hit with the coronavirus. And then, just to make it crystal clear, because they're going to say there's no evidence to that. Our government knew about it before the general public knew about it. Our government knew about it. Why? Because it was COVID-19. COVID-19 literally means that it was discovered or made aware, people made aware, founded in, 2019. Unlike the stupid things that people say, oh, if it's 19 different versions, they should have come up with a cure. No, that's not why it was called COVID-19. It was called COVID-19 because they found out about it in 2019, in the fall of 2019. And if you think something like that was going on in the rest of this world, a pandemic or epidemic was going on like that in the rest of this world, that our national security agency wasn't aware of it, the CIA wasn't aware of it, the CDC wasn't aware of it, then you are a fool. You are about as stupid as you can get to think that something like that could possibly be a germ attack, that our agencies were not aware of it. Here's what happened. I'm going to give you. They like to say, well, I'm going to put a spin on it. Well, you know what? I'm going to put a spin on it. He knew about it in 2019. Our government knew about it in 2019, but he kept it on hush, hush, hush. Hush, hush.
He didn't want people to panic.
He didn't want people to panic. He didn't want, that's what he said. I don't want people to panic. You know what? That's the stupid excuse I've ever heard in my life. What do you mean you want people? You
You
want to
could
let
do something about it and not have people panic.
Thank
How
you.
about showing a little compassion?
Compassion. Because,
People, everything is going to be all right, but
Yeah.
this is what's going on.
and this is what we need to do.
Right.
Right? How do we know? Because it was already being, the things that were working were already being implemented in China. It was already being implemented in that part of the world. The masks, because I was looking at people wearing masks all the time in Japan and from Korea, because I would see those shows, and you see people wearing masks all the time. China,
The air quality in there is real bad generally. That was why.
okay. John said, air quality sucked. Not as bad as California, but it sucked. But anyway, they knew about it. He knew about it. And he came in and said, oh, they downplayed it. Oh, it's only as bad as the common cold. Oh, the flu is worse than that. More people died of the flu than this virus. And so that being the case, he lied to the American public because he was telling us that. And how we know? Because he did an interview with the great Bob Woodward. The great Bob Woodward, who interviewed everybody from Nixon to through Trump, Obama, all the presidents. What's that guy named? Ronald Reagan. Because remember, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. And during his interview, what did he say? Oh, yeah, it's a nasty virus. I knew about it, but I didn't want people to panic. Excuse me? He knew it was a nasty airborne virus, and he didn't want people to panic. That is stupid. It's stupidity. He knew how vicious it was. We're going to work on that one. Yeah, he knew how bad it was, but he lied to the whole world. But more so, he lied to the American public. I think I'm going to do that, PA. Give me 2 minutes at the 2 minutes at the end, and I'm gonna do the PA.
Okay.
All right.
PSA?
The PSA, okay. What's PA? Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania. You're going to do the Pennsylvania.
We're going to do the Pennsylvania. Go Steelers, go. Yeah, Boston. Is Boston in Pennsylvania? Okay, Boston.
Boston is in Massachusetts.
Okay, so it's not
Pittsburgh's in Pennsylvania.
Go Pirates, go. Aren't we the Pirates?
Who?
Tampa Bay? Or we the Buccaneers?
Buccaneers.
We're the Buccaneers.
Arr.
There you go, laddie and lassies. So yeah, he knew about it. And so what happened? Him lying, that disease affected who? Who more so than all? Lower income people and the black community. Yes, it affected the black community more than just about anyone else, because we still didn't have the necessary PPPs and all that other stuff that other communities were able to get, right? So what did he do for the black community? What has Donald Trump done for the black community that hasn't been done better under the Biden-Harris community? And don't go telling me about that one person who got shot under Trump's administration that got killed by police and they didn't do anything. Don't go telling me about all that crap. All right? Especially and don't try to use the black card on me, because in case you haven't realized, I am black. All right? Don't try to gaslight me. Oh, black people are intelligent. Yeah, I know we're intelligent. But you know what? When certain people open their mouths, I question my intellect, my level of intellect. I'm like, hold up, am I really as dumb as that person deep down inside? And the reason why I say this is because, again, the Roland Martin had this individual, Mark something, who's the leader of co-leader of a Black Lives Matter chapter, and he was saying the same thing, that these same talking points, trying to belittle the Biden administration and Democratic Party and all this other stuff, and he was getting called out left and right. And like every conversation that I've engaged in with a individual who call themselves a conservative, even not even a Donald Trump supporter, around whoever call themselves one of these democratic conservative Republicans, because that's what they are. I got to clarify things. There are two types of conservatives in this nation. One is the Republican conservative, the original Republican conservative, or the real conservative Republicans, right? Whose lineage goes back to the inception of the Republican Party. And then it's the Democrat conservatives, who was the ones who basically wanted to keep the South, with slavery and all that other stuff. That's the other conservatives. They have invaded the Republican Party, and we're going to do a show on this. The real conservative, we did a show on the real conservative Republicans and the fake ones, the rhinos, right? We did that show. So that being the case, I want to make sure that we understand on this wrap up. People like to say that Donald Trump done more for black folk and black folk are leaving. Well, you know something? White folk are leaving the Republican Party. Oh, yeah. Yeah. More than you think. Evangelicals are starting to turn away from Trump. Oh, yeah. More than you think. More than they want to talk about. So, yeah. If you want to talk about politics, fine. If you want to put your stance out there, fine. But don't think it's going to go without being questioned or fact-checked. You want to fact-check me? Bring it on, buddy. Buttheads, bring it on. We're good. You want to butt it? Yo, man, that might be...
Buttinsky.
Okay, Buttinsky. Buttheads might be copyrighted by, I think, by one of those TV shows or something, or MTV or something like that. I don't know. Buttinskis, if you want to be one of these clowns that come up here with this crap about, what about, want to get into a conversation, then want to jump off this topic, want to keep switching topics, lanes, and stuff like that, well, you got the right one. You really do got the right one. I'm that right one. Okay? All right. Rowan Martin, like I said, I would love to see Philip Scott debate Roland Martin. Oh, my goodness gracious gosh. I would love to see Jink debate Roland Martin. I would love to see him. I would love to see him. But you know what? They won't. They won't. Okay? With that being said, let me once again give a shout out to the TBCN. The Tampa Bay Community Network. They are let me get my name, get my stuff here right, my notes. They're the Community Media Center, right? You have access to the view on the FiOS, channel 30 and 36, Spectrum, channel 36, 638 and 639, Comcast 20, Roku, Apple TV. That reminds me, they're supposed to send me an Apple TV Fire Stick. They're supposed to be doing that for like the last 3 weeks. I gotta call them people up today. Fire TV, iOS, Android, and on the internet via watch us, tbcn.org. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Okay? So I gotta do that shout out. One day I'm gonna have this all memorized.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the shout out.
No problem. Are you cutting me off now?
No. We got 45 seconds.
I got 45 seconds. So I can start a whole new show. I can do a whole new show in 45 seconds. Now I'm only joking with you. I might miss a couple words, key sentences in that 45 seconds. But yeah, like I was saying, from the very beginning to the very end, it's going to be real. All right? Okay, I'll be Keith. This is the show where you can soon, then later, turn to as opposed to the fake media outlets, okay? So that being said, I want to breaker 1, breaker 2, breaker 3, breaker, we out.